What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to the RED League, as some might call it, but others like Bill and co simply refer to as the Red League. Something much simpler, easier. But the reason why it's actually been a long time since I've actually uploaded any Red battles, and that's just because of Pokemon Sun and Moon. I want to try to catch up and keep you guys up to date in terms of that. So, behold my grinding skills of bulk recording, I guess. Something like that. But anywho, before we get into this, cue in the intro. Alright, so today I'm going to be battling against Alex, coach of the Kansas City Cubones. Well, not today. Today I'm going to be presenting you a battle against Alex. And Alex, two-time champion of the Red League, Season 1, Season 2. We're on Season 3, so he's got some high standards, some pretty high standards. He's the man who knocked us out of the semifinals in Season 2, and we're out for revenge. Bad blood, pretty much. We've got some bad blood. Not really. Fellow Canadian too, pretty awesome guy, and he helps me a lot with team building too. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this battle, as you can tell, and I'll sort of run through this team as how I sort of thought of it. This is also a very nerve-wracking week, something like that. I was nervous. I was just nervous, and that's because this is sort of a brand new team right in front of us. We'll go through this slowly, nice and slow. Go nice and slow. I'll sort of run through this team with you guys, just because it's sort of a brand new team. I did a bunch of trades. I didn't like the team that I had when I was playing with it, and I saw some big flaws in terms of like speed, priority, and just power. And I felt like it was just too passive just for my style of play right now. And I drafted things like Crobat, adds a really great hazard set or hazard controller, adds some great speed. I added things like, I thought I was going to add Meloetta, something that I'm really in favor of, and a Azumarill. So half my team is brand new, and I was pretty hyped to pick up these Pokemon because I felt like it really balanced my team and it really brought in some good stuff. And yeah, so anywho, we've got Crobat over here, a defensive Crobat, so pretty fast Crobat, outspeeds Weavile, and everything else is put into HP and a bit of defense. And right now it already deals with a bunch of things. Just looking at team preview, as you can tell, Crobat deals with Skuntank, Celebi, and potentially Mega Gallade. So that's some good stuff right there. We've also have Azumarill over here, Fortress. Fortress is actually a really cool set. It's meant to deal with both Magneton and Weavile, because those are two scary things. And I knew that Magneton was coming, but I don't know what sort of set it was going to be. I figured, you know what, it's going to be Magneton, because right now the only thing that deals with Weavile is Fortress, and it does it relatively well. So I was like, oh boy, this is nerve-wracking. So it's nice to see that Magneton is there. Just give him a little wave. Hi there, Magneton. And then we've got Superior, Entei, and Meloetta. So Superior is just pretty much in there to smash some skulls. Entei is a defensive variant, no extreme speed, so that's really something to keep an eye on, because it's something to keep an eye on. And Meloetta is just in here to deal with things like Celebi, Magneton, just in case, and it can just do some really nice damage to everything else. He had a really threatening team, and Meloetta seemed to make sense. So I'm going to lead off with Fortress, because I want to try to get up some spikes, or potentially pull off my Chav, get Weavile in there, get Magneton in there, try to do something like that. And this is a Fortress enough to take down a non-sturdy Magneton. So Earthquake is going to be doing a lot of damage on everything. So let's get this going on, guys. So yeah, let's just go fast. Yeah, fast. Come on, here we go. So we got the Fortress and Garchomp matchup. Looking pretty nice over here. I'm scared of Fire Blast, so I'm not going to lose Fortress right away. Fortress is way too valuable in this match. Fortress deals with Weavile. Weavile is bad for me, so let's get the hell out of there. Bye! Earthquake is coming, so Earthquake does a lot of damage on Azumarill, and bad damage. I don't like it. At all. And at this point, I'm just going for knockoff. I want to see what sort of item it has, if it has a choice band. I knew he wasn't going to stay in. I figured, you know what, if he goes into Celebi, I get some decent damage. If he goes into Gallade, still damage. It wasn't really a great play. It was just sort of like a below the middle ground play. He goes back into Garchomp, as he makes a interesting double switch over here. Goes right into Crobat, and he ends up predicting me over here, going for the Earthquake, predicting me to switch out. So I'm like, alright, shout out to you on that. I just go into Au Contraire, and he does 32%. 32% is a lot of damage considering it's an Earthquake and it's a Garchomp, but I was running some calcs, and Outrage has a chance. I think it had like a small chance of KOing me, but he had to get like a high roll. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta get damage off of this thing. If he's choiced into Earthquake, that's cool. Free Leaf Storm, I can get some big damage off of a lot of things here. I do have Hidden Power Ground, so if Magneton comes, it's actually in range for Superior to take it down. If Skuntank comes in, still I can take it down. So Superior can do a lot of damage right now. And at this point, I'm like, alright, I'm clicking Leaf Storm. I'm committed. I am committed. So I do a 56%. I'm like, yes, Superior. Thank you. Thank you, because that is big damage. I outspeed it. He goes for Outrage. Doesn't KO me. Living on 3. Feels good to be a gangster. When you get that roll, it feels good. It feels real good. So I'm just going for Dragon Pulse. Bye-bye, Garchomp, you're gone. Big threat gone, because Garchomp actually destroyed a lot of my team. Garchomp goes through my team if it has Fire Blast, I think. So that's a scary Garchomp. That's a scary Garchomp. A big threat gone. I'm sort of breathing a lot better. My heart is relaxing. It's like, alright, cool. The nerves are starting to settle in. We're looking good. We got the first KO, first blood. Looking pretty snazzy. Weavile comes in, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I gotta switch out. And the reason I switch out was because... excuse me, sorry about that. The reason why I switched out was because I want a Death Fodder. Superior, it's not useful right now, but just in case we run into Mega Gallade or Skuntank or something like that, even Magneton, I still have Hidden Power Rocks, I still have Leaf Storm, I can do a lot of damage, and it's potential Death Fodder too. So hopefully I can make that work later on. It's just thinking about the late game. And right now, Azumarill doesn't do a lot to his team. Azumarill is just something that is just going to chill there. So this is also my opportunity to see if he has Poison Jab or Low Kick. If he doesn't have any coverage for Azumarill, he is not staying in. If he has coverage, he's going for Poison Jab at this point. So he knocks off my Splash Plate. Goodbye, Splash Plate. And I'm going to make a hard switch into Fortress. So this reveals Poison Jab. So most likely knock off Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Poison Jab. So I'm looking pretty snazzy over here. I'm like, sweet, I'm going for Volt Switch. Let's not let this thing get trapped by Magneton as he ends up going into Celebi. And I'm just going to go into the count. I can go for a U-turn. And the reason why I hard switched over there was because I didn't want to find out it was Choice Scarfed, and I was just like, man, I lost a good solid Pokemon for no particular reason. So at this point, I'm like, alright, cool. It's not Choice Scarfed, or if it is, he's bluffing it really, really good. And I have a really good solid matchup up here. Brittany versus Magneton is something that Brittany can totally win and do some great damage. I can also see if this is Choice Scarfed, because if it's Choice Scarfed, then that's bad, but if it's Choice Spect and I outspeed it, then that's cool. So I see that I go first, and I'm like, haha, that's great, awesome. Volt Switch does a lot of damage, 43%, and he ends up sending out Gallade. And he goes for the Protect over here as, you know, I figured I'd go for a Shadow Ball, middle ground play. I see that he has Protect, that's fine by me. I guess him thinking that I outspeed Magneton, I must have some speed investment, so I would outspeed this Mega Gallade. And it's just a safe play around just to see what I have. I know I have to get damage off of this Gallade because Braver doesn't actually want to hit KO this Gallade. It's pretty close, but doesn't. So I go right into Entei, hoping that, you know, he could take it decently. 79% is not decent, and I don't have extreme speed. So at this point, I'm like, he's not going to stay in. He ends up staying in, and that sucks because I could have got some damage off. And either way, though, I can bring out the count, go for a U-turn, get some extra damage. And Gallade is a big threat, so I make a bit of a series of bad plays over here because I go for Brave Bird. He's not going to stay in. I figured, you know what, Brave Bird is a safe play to make, but it was just a bad play to make because I actually end up getting a lot more damage over here than I should have. U-turn doesn't do enough damage, Brittany comes out, and Thunderbolt does a lot. So that is a, I don't know what sort of magneton this is, but that is probably just like an analytic choice specs magnet, or not analytic, it's probably just a choice specs magnet pull magneton. So that does a lot of damage, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't worth it, because I still could have had Brittany around just to take some extra damage from different things. I don't have a Colbert Berry. It would have been nice to keep around. So at this point, I'm just going for Shadow Ball, get some damage off, middle ground play, no point of going for Hidden Power. Ground, just because if you switch into Celebi. And yeah, so anywho, I go into Velvet. I know the reason why I go for Aqua Jet over here, it's not because, you know, I didn't have any other play. Like, if I had just gone into Crobat, it would have one-hit KO, right? Well, no, it wouldn't have done that, just because this is not a offensive invested Crobat, and it's not very strong. So Crobat needs a little bit of damage, chip damage on Gallade, which will allow Crobat to actually beat Mega Gallade. So at this point, I'm like, alright, Azumarill, you've done your job. I know it's pretty much just to take a couple hits and then fire off an Aqua Jet, but that's all I needed you to do. I also find out that he has Leaf Blade. So Leaf Blade, Protect, and Close Combat. Or Leaf Blade, Protect, Zen Headbutt, and whatnot. So I'm looking pretty good over here, because Fortress can actually deal with that relatively well if I can actually get it into a 1v1 situation. Now I know that Skunk Tank can't do a lot of damage to the count. I can win this battle 100% of the time, just because it's a winnable situation. I do not want to send Fortress against this thing, because this thing actually gets Fire Blast. So we're in an odd situation where I have to go for Brave Bird and try to roost up and get past these Sucker Punches. All in all, if I I don't know what's going on there. All in all, just wait. Alright, so back, sorry, my throat was just acting up. So all in all, right now, my whole situation over here was just to roost and pass off the Sucker Punch, but I forgot about the Aftermath, and I ended up taking a lot more damage than I should have. Brave Bird plus Aftermath puts me at 37%. That's not enough, or 42%. That's not enough for me to take on Weavile. And he ends up sending up Celebi over here, which is rather interesting, because I figured, you know, what the middle ground play is, you know, Weavile or something like that. Because I don't know if he does or doesn't have Ice Shard. I don't know if I seen that. So this point, I'm like, alright, U-turn, let's go on out of here. That puts out a lot of HP, and I can just sack off Au Contraire over here. That's the point of having Death Fodder, is just sack it off for those reasons. So Au Contraire did its job to the pinnacle, to the point where I'm just like, I'm happy. I am happy. We've got the brand new count over here. I'm going for U-turn. 10 out of 10 plays to make. And just looking back to at this point, maybe Brave Bird would have been good, but I figured, you know what? I gotta get some chip damage on this thing. I can't kill myself to recoil. And it just would have been bad news bears. So I'm going into Fortress, Walmaria. He takes 82%. And I get a bit more damage off. So at this point, I knew, like, Brave Bird won't KO me. I get some lefties, or Black Sludge. Yummy, yummy, delicious. 42% again. And he brings out Weavile, and I'm like, oh boy, Weavile is looking pretty scary, because Fortress is at 81%. So I did the calcs, and there's a chance where I can actually live 2 hits from this thing. So my options here, my possibilities, pretty much the game comes down to this. I know for sure I have to switch out. There's no way I'm staying in, and I don't KO Weavile at all, like, at all. I don't know if it has Ice Shard. Let's see, do I know? No, I don't. I don't know if it has Ice Shard. And I don't know what I think its last move is. I think he just showed Icicle Crash and something like that. So my only plays right here is to go into Fortress. And pretty much I have to Heavy Slam. So I go into Fortress, he gets 48%. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of damage. Check up on the calcs, see what the roll is right now, and it's in favor for me to live. And I end up living this hit 32%, living on 2. So I depending on each other's investments and whatnot, I knew I lived. I just didn't know how much I lived by. And going for the heavy slam here was just the middle ground play. If he had switched out into Celebi, once again, depending on his investments, Celebi would have gone down to heavy slam. So a offensive infested while Maria actually picks up a KO over here without using like hazards, which is fantastic. So I'm like, sweet, Weavile is gone. That is pretty much a GG. I can sack off Will Maria because Will Maria did its job to the, like, so great. And we end up picking up our revenge win over here with a narrow 1-0 victory. These games are always so tight between like me and Alex. And GG to him, really great battler. And I'm really looking forward to battling him probably once again in the playoffs. I'm expecting Alex to be in the playoffs just for some reason. And next week we will be going against Nathan, coach of the Clef Legends. I want to say just like the Clef Leafeons for some reason. But we're going to be going against him, and be sure to stay tuned for that. We are 4-3 or something like that. It was a big win. It was a big win because Alex and I are in a similar position. We're battling for a playoff spot, and it's a much different season as opposed to season 2. So we're really gutting it out here. We're really trying to pick up wins, and each of these battles are going to matter week in and week out. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Be sure to stay tuned for the next week's battle, and I'm going to get going. So thank you so much for watching, and this is Cap. Gonna catch you later. Ha! Didn't say signing off. Bye!